What's going on, everyone? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast with
You
myself.
got that?
I'm getting it together. With myself, and of course, with Coach Miguel Sander, who's down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
What a show we got for you today. The Phillies have turned things around, at least it seems like so far, against these bum teams they've been playing. And the Sixers have made a move after getting swept out of the playoffs. We'll talk about that. And we got some Eagles news for you, of course, as well. So, welcome in, everybody. Sorry that we were a little bit late coming into the show. That's Miguel's fault. It's easy to just blame him. But either way, we are here. We are ready to go, and we are ready to entertain. But before we get to all of that, you all know what I like to do. I like to ask my folks. Let me straighten this up a little bit. The thing got moved. It got pulled. There we go. There we go. Excuse me. I like to ask my folks how they been. So Miguel,
Sir.
how you been?
Pretty good actually. Our Vision's 13 youth squad is now 9-0-1 in our league. Overcame some challenges this week. We had some stiffer competition. We won our first game 6-3, and then came back to win our second game 13-7 after being down 4-0 and 6-1. So they fought back and they're starting to come together, and it was one of those things, like it felt like the Eagles Super Bowl run, like they were winning but not, something was like kind of missing, but I think they're starting to put it together and be confident in their abilities and in each other, so we're looking good.
It's always a great feeling when the team is. I'm looking at a text message I got from my cousin who is down in Florida. He said, "Are you guys wearing Knicks jerseys tonight? I heard New York owns basketball in Philly now. Hurts my heart, but I guess it's just years of bad deals." Hey, we'll get into that. No, we're not wearing Knicks jerseys, even though I am wearing blue. No, we're not wearing Knicks jerseys, and Miguel is wearing his Visions Academy jersey.
Vision
Vision,
Select Baseball.
Vision Select, excuse me, Vision Select. I'm gonna get it right on my own at some point. I promise I will. Um, but you know, New York does own Philly right now. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But your team, you said your team came back. You were down 4-0 and came back. Did you say 13-7? And what did
Was
you
the
say
fun.
after that?
So we were down 4-0, and then we were down 6-1, and then we wound up working our way back, winning 13-7.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, I'm just trying to do some house cleaning here with the show. Um
And I don't mean to call out anything or anyone, but
but it seems
this
like
is this is bull crap right now. I still cannot connect to my Instagram, and I don't know why.
well that we're gonna have to talk to the platform that we use to be on here. I see your Instagram on there, but I don't know on your end maybe something is like I see it up there. But anyway, the people ain't really interested in
I think
our
it's
technical schematics. Unfortunately. But before we get started and get into the show, I want to get people's opinion on something. I'm going to put this up a few times in the show, and then we could talk about it at the end. Um, I was sent this post by one of our loyal viewers earlier today, and um, I found it interesting. And the question is the best dunker of all time. Okay. Who is the best dunker of all time? And your choices there are Vince Carter, Blake Griffin, Sean Kemp, Julius Irvin, Michael Jordan, Dwight Howard, Dominique Wilkins, LeBron James, or somebody else. And we could talk about that as well. Just something to talk about today. We'll get into it a little later. But I just want to put that out there, and for the people that are on with us early, go ahead and put your comments in the comments section or whatever the case may be, or you can call us with your opinion on it, and we'll definitely talk about that. I'm trying to get the thing down now. I'm sorry.
So what? So I'm always about the criteria. It doesn't. So winning and losing doesn't matter. It's strictly dunking.
Strictly dunking. Winning and
Yeah,
losing does not matter. Strictly dunking. Because look, we looking at ooh, only two guys on this list have three guys on this list have championships.
I got you.
Three. And let me see. One, two of the guys that don't have championships on this list, only two of them have been to championships, unless I'm missing something. So I already know that one of the well, at least the person that sent this to me is and I believe he's already watching the show. Um he already said that he already added somebody to the list and said who he would take off, and we both would take off the same person. But before we get into that, let's get into the crux of the eye crust today, real quick. Yesterday, May 12th, 2026, the Philadelphia 76ers did what I felt that they were going to do and probably needed to do after, especially after this trade deadline move that they pulled this year. That was just, I was not happy about it, and I think I expressed my feelings on this show. They fired President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey, who came in 2020. He came in and it's been 6 years, 6 seasons with the Sixers. Um, Probably notably known for bringing in James Harden, getting rid of Ben Simmons. Trying to hold back a sneeze right now. Excuse me. Um, Giving Embiid a contract that we won't live down for a while. We probably won't recover from that contract till about 2030. Giving Paul George a big max deal when nobody else would. Notice one thing I didn't say was draft Tyrese Maxey, because Tyrese Maxey came in 2020, but Daryl Morey himself has said that he didn't draft Tyrese Maxey. Elton Brand did. Elton Brand is still with Elton Brand is technically the general manager, but the president of basketball operations always, they get the credit for making these moves. One person he did draft that worked out with, at least so far, is VJ Edgecombe, the current rookie from this season. And if you want to give Daryl Morey credit for bringing in Tyrese Maxey, that's all well and good. But what does that tell me, Miguel? That he's done a pretty good job drafting guards, but anything bigger than a guard, he's missed the mark. He's missed the mark. And if I missed anything as far as what he's done, please, folks, please let me know. Um, Monroe said he is back. It was Monroe that sent me that post about the best dunker that we're going to be talking about today. Um, but of course, some of the particulars, real quick. You can give us a call at 727-731-8267. That's the number to call to give us your comments. Or you can text us on our 24-hour text line at 484-606-6061. Of course, the easiest way to do it is to just comment in the chat, and we will get your comments up there. Um, I know you've had some feelings about Daryl Morey, or some thoughts, I should say, not feelings. You had some thoughts about Daryl Morey getting fired, and I'm going to give you this moment. I'm going to pick my feet up off the floor because I love talking about the Sixers with you, because we are like ebony and ivory when it comes to the Sixers. How
Ebony
sure about
and
yin?
Ivory. Is that because I'm Latino and you're black?
Sure,
Okay.
why not? But we're also kind of like yin and yang. Like we kind of sometimes agree to a point. You know,
First off, let's back up a second. Was it not you that predicted? I want to say 2 years ago, you picked the wrong champion. You predicted that the Sixers would win the NBA Finals.
I did. It
And
was. Would it be technically 2 years ago? Was the season not this season, but last season? I did.
it was the season the Eagles
I
won.
meant the Eagles. I
You,
meant the
you
Eagles.
meant you had meant to said right. I got you.
I meant to say the Eagles were going to win the championship.
Now, and what did you say that they would do this year?
I said that they would win the championship. But let me get my Skip
No, no,
Bayless.
no. Hold on, wait. Before you go, that's actually a good thing. So you know what that means?
The Eagles are going to win the
To win the
championship.
Super Bowl. Bam.
Let me get my Skip Bayless on to play the fence. I also said, and actually, that's what I meant to do before the show. I meant to get the clip. The fan in me was saying the Eagles or the Sixers are going to win the championship. The realist in me last week, you saw the realist in me last week because I did predict the Sixers to beat the Celtics. But last week I said I felt like the Sixers won their championship in that first round. I honestly didn't think they were going to beat the Knicks, but I did not know for the life of me did not think they were going to get swept. I did not think they were going to get swept. But they won their championship in the first round. I believe I was right about that. But I'm sorry, Miguel. I stepped on your thoughts. Go ahead, give me your thoughts because you had a few things to say.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is it's like, is it the right move? You know what I mean? I know, he got rid of some, Simmons and, he got Harden, which kind of blew up in his face. But at the end of the day, I mean, there, from the things that I've been reading, it's been argued whether the fans or even people internally agree that the Sixers have a deep bench. Um, because from a lot of public sentiment, they're not that deep outside of
Not deep with talent.
not deep with talent, right? They're just minutes giving people breaks. Eh, you know, I still think, and I think the biggest. This all reeks to me of like all of the Billy King signings from when in the Iverson era, the really bad contracts, the Kenny Thomases and you know Tyron Hill, whatever. Um, it's like you're stuck with an injury prone, uh, horribly need center that is that's the greatest basketball player on the earth 20 maybe 30 games a year and maybe two playoff games and like even his record Daryl Morley I keep calling him Morley because I keep getting the R's and the L's mixed up and the Sixers went 270 and 200 and 212 in the regular season but 28 and 26 in the postseason. So it's like that's what the Sixers are. You know, they can get through the season, just not in the playoffs.
28 and 26 in the postseason. That's
28.
interesting. It's interesting because like I don't, I'm not a mathematician, but for them to have a winning record in the postseason, but they haven't gotten out of the second round. That's interesting to me.
Well, I mean, it would be like let's say what they sweep the first round.
Okay,
You
now
know what I mean? Sweep the second round, but then lose like 4 games to 3. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like when the Phillies went to the World Series or '93 when they were playing in the National League Championship Series. They beat the Braves 4 games to 2. Your Braves, but they were actually outscored by like 20 runs because of the two big losses that they had in Atlanta. I think they lost. Well, they lost 16-3. I think in Game 2, and like 14-7 in Game
yeah, they got
3, and then
blown out in those games. Yeah, they
right,
did.
and then Game 4 they won 2-1.
Right.
So yeah. So that stuff can happen, but irregardless, it's like all right, you get rid of the general manager, you get a new general manager in here, but you're still stuck with Embiid for 3 more years. And if I'm not mistaken, that 3 year extension doesn't start until after this season, or it starts now.
I think it starts now.
It starts now. Okay.
I think it
If,
starts. I believe I have to look it up. I believe it starts. I believe it starts now. Like next season is the first year of the extension. I believe.
right. So either way, I mean, you have the nucleus in Maxi and Edgecombe, but other than that, and then but you can't. It's been proven you can't rely on Embiid. He's not. He's only going to get worse from here.
The answer would be to build around Maxi and Edgecombe.
Hmm.
If you're stuck with Embiid, so you have to figure that out. But you can't have him be the a big piece of your plan. He has to be a piece of the plan. Like Kelly Oubre is a piece of the plan, but he can't be the piece of the plan. You have to build around Maxi and Edgecombe now. Real quick, R. Dot says Daryl Morey doesn't play the games though. He had the pieces, they just fell apart. I'm not sure that he had the pieces. No, well, I shouldn't say that. He didn't have the right pieces, right? When they, and I don't think we were doing this show when they traded for James Harden. We might have been doing it. I don't remember.
Yeah, we were doing it actually.
If we were, then I probably said this. Embiid has not. Embiid didn't have success in the playoffs. Harden did not have success in the playoffs. And then you put them two together in the playoffs. I mean, on the same team. They're not going to succeed in the playoffs. Neither one of them have had success in the playoffs. Okay, that to me, and what they gave up in that trade, they gave up a shooter in Seth Curry, and they gave up the backup big, which was our toughness in Draymond Green. I'm sorry, not Draymond Green, Andre Drummond. And then it showed that the Sixers were not tough anymore after that. Um, he was also part of the decision to let Jimmy Butler go. You had the pieces then. I guess you could say they fell apart then with the ball bouncing 7 times on the rim and going in Toronto, which was crazy to see that again when I forgot what game I was watching, but they showed it again. I was just like, oh man, to live through that again was terrible. Um, to say he had the pieces, maybe you could say he had starting pieces. He had old pieces, but the pieces he had was not they were not good enough. He never built up the bench. Never built up the bench. And no disrespect to the guys, but Watford, Barlow, yeah, Kyle Lowry, who is just collecting a paycheck at this point. He's the Udonis Haslam of the Sixers, which I'm not a Heat fan. I'm not in Miami. I don't know what people were thinking about Udonis Haslam, but I'm sure they had love for him. Kyle Lowry's just taking up a spot. He's the only point guard on the roster, but he wasn't getting any burn. You got guys like was it Justin Edwards, who might be a formidable guy off the bench, but way off the bench or way down on the bench. Couple other guys in there. They got rid of guys to keep guys on that were coming off a 10-day contract. So they really they bought in a lot of 10-day contracts. They bought in a lot of G leaguers. You're not going to go far in the playoffs with that. And the game, I guess, has changed in a bit because in the playoffs, in the NBA playoffs, regular season you might go 10 deep, right? 8 to 10 deep coming off the bench. Playoffs kind of go 7 deep, maybe 8 at the most, but kind of just go 7 deep. The Oklahoma City Thunder changed all that. They changed all that, and they're a young team. Nobody was expecting the Oklahoma City Thunder to be what they become, and they're a young team. They're deep off the bench. They proved that you don't have to just keep your rotation to 7 people. Let's go to a couple more comments. R. Dot also said Embiid got to go. Unless you get Howie Roseman in here to start wheeling and dealing, I think Embiid ain't going anywhere. Monroe said, Justin, you and Coach Santa are such a great team. I always end up learning stuff listening to you guys. I'm glad to hear that. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, I said Harden is known to have success in the playoffs.
Not have success.
Excuse me. Yeah, yep, I can read. Harden is known to not have success in the playoffs. That was dumb. And then he says, "Don't you talk about UD? Talking about Udonis? Hey, Udonis Haslam was collecting a check and not for a long time and was not clogging any minutes. But He had that luck. He played his entire basketball career, high school, college, pros, his whole entire career in the state of Florida. So shout out to him. Um, and plus you knew Udonis Haslam would come in the game and probably be effective. Okay. Um, Kyle Lowry, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um, you asked this question, Miguel. Does it matter that they fired Maury if Josh Harris is still the owner? That's a
Yeah,
very good question.
that was gonna be my because at the end he's gotta hate the face. He's like the Nick Sirianni of owners. You know what I mean? Like you just I think it's hard because he owns what the New Jersey Devils in hockey. He owns the Washington Commodores and in football, and it's like I don't want to ask the question that does he not know what he's doing because obviously he knows a little bit something, but
I don't know if he's interested in winning as much as he's interested in owning a team and making money.
that part
Like
because I
people
mean
say that he cares more about the Commanders than any other. I don't know. Like I don't know.
you know what it is. He cares in spots. Like he cared about the Sixers when he was trying to move them to Chinatown and try to get the new venue. But what people don't realize is that he did the exact same thing with DC. Because for those that don't know, like the Washington Comet Tops, they're actually playing in Landover, Maryland.
Yes.
So he fought tooth and nail to get a new stadium, got the new stadium, but they're going back to the old RFK Stadium site, which is still there actually, and it's
Mhm.
real creepy looking.
Yes, it is.
But it's still there, so they're going to rebuild it to this gigantic, Trump stadium, this Trump dome.
He's
Well, he already said he wants to, suggest that he have that the stadium be named after, and Josh Harris would be the type of guy. Yeah, we'll put your name on it, no problem.
Yeah, give me some tax cuts, rebates, or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just
Anyway, I will
reeks
have
of
to live
like
by that stadium, so it is what it is. My team doesn't have
he
to
just he just
call that their house,
yeah
but
he just reeks of douchery. Like I don't know, he just seems like he's the type that would go into the lockers and like sniff jock straps. You know what I mean? And because I just
I, that just reminds me of a story. I know I've told on this show before, but maybe not everybody has heard this story.
what? Oh, jeez. Okay, go ahead.
It's like a bad segue, right? But it
Horrible.
but it but it works because you've heard this story before. One time when I was working for Comcast Sportsnet, which is the local station here in which the Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers play their games, I was working with the locker room reporter, and it was a Flyers game. And the Flyers game was over, and the Flyers, unlike the Sixers, the Flyers have a room they get dressed in, and then they have a locker room, a separate locker room that nobody else goes into. But the room that they get dressed in is where the reporters come and get the interviews and stuff like that. So I don't remember who was being interviewed at the time. It might have been like Briere or Brizgalov or something. I don't remember who it was. And I heard this noise, this knock on the ground, something bouncing around, right? And then I felt something hit my foot. And I looked down and there was somebody's cup had fell out of the thing and settled on top of my foot. And I was just like, ugh, and just kicked that. Like, yo, that is disgusting. Somebody's cup just landed on my foot. That is disgusting. A professional hockey player's cup. Post game, so that it wasn't even like before the game. This was post game, so it's extra nasty. Landed on my foot. Yuck. Hit us up, y'all. Hit us up. Hit us up on the 24-hour text line 484-606-6061. Or, of course, you can call us with your thoughts at 727-731-8267. Make sure you follow Neuters Radio on Instagram and all that good stuff. And, of course, the Check Swing Podcast on Instagram as well. Before we move on, Miguel has a commercial spot that he wants to put on. So I haven't seen this. So can I just start it?
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen this, so I'll just put it this way. Well, let me do this. Let me do this. Just because
Are you gonna
sometimes you
do
gotta
it?
be careful with Miguel. I'm gonna just do this real quick. All right, now with that being said, here we go.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real man of genius.
This offseason, we salute you, Mr. Strictly Professional Hot Tub Guy.
Mr. Strictly Professional Hot Tub Guy.
While others use the spa to soothe their aching hamstrings, you use 104-degree water to go off the record until the entire news cycle explodes.
Just 2 pounds relaxing.
Ah, the beauty of Sedona. Red rocks, the breeze, the sounds of Mr. Kraft firing DJs for talking about a scandal that supposedly never happened.
Scrap the internet.
Each night, a magical revelation of erased Twitter feeds and leaked photos, and a wife who just called a divorce lawyer.
To play gate too.
So crack open a wicked piss up, Mr. Sedona Secret Insider. Then sit back, skip day 3, and watch the fireworks.
Strictly Professional.
Bud Light Beer in Usable, St. Louis, Missouri.
And we are back. And before we move forward to talk about a little bit about our Phillies, I do want to put this thing back up real quick. That was presented to us by Monroe, who's watching the show right now. Best dunker of all time. Here are your choices: Vince Carter, Blake Griffin, Sean Kemp, Julius, Dr. J. Irvin, Michael Jordan, Dwight Howard, Dominique Wilkins, LeBron James, or someone who's not on this list. Please put your opinions in the chat, or of course, you can call us on the number and let us know your thoughts. And shoot, if you call us, we might debate you on it. I don't know, but just so we're clear, because Miguel asked this question earlier, and it's worth noting. We're not asking you who had the better career. We're not asking you who had better team. We're asking you the best dunker. All right. Like I said, there's only 3 guys on this list that have won championships. There's only 2 other guys on the list that have actually like been to championships and contributed. Um, so like I said, hit us up. Let us know your thoughts on that. Now, let's talk about the Phils. Let's talk about the Phils. Last week, did they fire Topper before or after our show last week?
Before.
Before our show. Okay, so last week we told you that Topper got fired. And Don Mattingly, Mr. Baseball, was hired on an interim basis. It was said that he didn't even want the job, but he took it on an interim basis.
Well, and for people that don't know, his son-in-law, I believe, is like an assistant GM.
Yeah.
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 So it
Is it his son-in-law or his son? I thought it was
son.
his son.
I think it's an in-law. It's somebody that's married into his family.
Okay, I thought they had a Mattingly. I thought they had the Mattingly last name. I don't know. Don't
I
get
could
me.
be wrong.
Either way, somebody related to him is like an assistant GM there. So there could be what's it called? Conflict of interest. But whatever. If he has success, maybe he stays. If he doesn't have success, Alex Cora might be the next one. Um R. says Vince Carter hands down. We'll talk about that. Carolina guy, by the way. Just wanted to put that out there. Actually, there's two Carolina guys on the list. Now think about it, and one just happens to be considered the goat.
Oh,
Even,
and
even I don't think he's the goat. I think
you
it's
were right. You were right. His son is Preston Mattingly. He's the general manager.
Preston Mattingly. Thank you, thank you. But since hiring or promoting Don Mattingly to the interim manager position, the Phillies have gone 11-3 ever since. Now, I always I'm usually not that person that says, "Well, who did they play?" I'm usually that person that says, "You got to play who's in front of you." But when they were on that like 8 out of 9 game losing streak, I mean, they played the Braves, they played the Cubs, and they played somebody else. I think it was somebody else they played that they shouldn't have lost to. But the Braves and the Cubs are a pretty decent team. What are we looking at, Miguel? You're the baseball guy. You're the baseball expert. I consider you an expert. What are we looking at? Are we looking at what the Phillies are? Are they going to be this type of team against the better teams in the league, or are we just looking at a team that is going to take advantage of the not so better teams in the league and still struggle against some of the better teams?
It's hard to. It's still hard for me to say. I will say that Don Mattingly does have a lot of confidence in this team. He was the one that publicly said that when it came to Alec Bohm and his struggles, that he said he put his life on the line that he's going to hit again. And I think he took like 2 or 3 days off, and then he hit 2 homer. He went like 3 for 4 the other night with 2 home runs. So anytime I see that, I'm like, there has to be something going on that he's either changing either the tone or a regimen or a culture. And not to say that Topper had a bad culture. I think sometimes when the coach is really lax or really chill and isn't like a force or a voice of reason or reckoning, that kind of happen. It kind of, I guess, spills into the team, and that's how they kind of, because that's how they played in the first 20 or 30 games. They kind of played like, all right, well, we're here, we're trying, but remember the last time there was a coaching change when Girardi was the manager, it was kind of something similar. Although Girardi had an issue playing any young guy, so he wasn't playing like Stott at the time because we had Segura. He wasn't playing some of the young guys. So Topper comes in, gets them to the World Series, arguably.
With
I don't
Stott,
know.
right?
Say again.
With Stott and Segura, right?
With Stott and Segura, with Stott at shortstop, which I know you liked them at short. I never liked them at short.
I only like them at short. I don't have a reason. Well, I do have a reason, but it's not a good reason. I only like him at short because we got to the World Series with him playing short. Didn't
Yeah,
hurt us.
that's a horrible reason. But yeah,
But does it sound like a horrible reason? We
eh,
got to the World Series. We haven't been back since he hasn't been playing short. We haven't gotten we got close, but
yeah, but I don't. I think we did that in spite of him. I,
you might be right.
yeah, I just I think second base is his spot. I think he's one of the better defensive second basemen in this league. I still don't like Trey at short. I know that he's had defensive issues on and off, and he's gotten better. But if he never was that great defensively, I just think he'll just eventually go back to being an ordinary shortstop. I just think he should be in the outfield, to be honest with you. And if we had the outfield of Trey Turner, Crawford, and Garcia, even though he would be the slowest of the three, but he's still better, way better than Castellanos. You have a pretty fast outfield there. You just got to find a shortstop now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. We had spoke about it before. I thought maybe they moved Trey to the outfield because it was infield and struggles at short. But did you see what change? He hasn't had the issues at short this year.
Right.
Did you see the change that was made with him defensively? That what they're crediting for helping him make plays now?
What was that?
Watch watch him play and
Mm.
excuse me. Anything hit to him or to his right hand side, he's backhanding it. He's backhanding almost everything.
So when he's even to his, you said to his right,
To his to his right.
to, to
So
his
that would
right.
be a backhand anyway
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a lot of cases. But stuff hit right to him, he's backhanding.
Yeah, because he did. He. I think that was he would kind of come around, but always come up and try to skip. And that's actually a lot of. We have a couple of players that are kind of doing that right now,
Mhm.
and they're not accurate defensively for doing that, so to speak. So
But they're not professionals. They got to learn the fundamentals. Trey learned the fundamentals, and they ain't working for him as a professional. He had to change it up. Um. So here's a note that you put in here in our notes. Kyle Schwarber tied the Phillies franchise record for consecutive games with a home run with 5 games. And he's the seventh Philly to do that. So I know because you put it in here. But I'm going to pose this to some of the people that's watching. Actually, they probably Google it, so it's kind of cheating. I'm not going to give you time. Um, you have Trey Turner did it in 2023. But you have Reese Hoskins did it, Chase Utley did it twice, Bobby Abreu did it, Mike Schmidt did it, and Dick Allen did it. There's one more Philly that I did not mention that also did it. And it's probably not who you're thinking. I'll give people to the and it's on a delay, so they're not going to get a chance probably. But I'll give people to the end of this song to really figure it out while we kind of discussed that there was discussion about Kyle Schwarber possibly hitting 500 home runs. Do you think he'll get there?
yeah.
And to follow up on that question, is he the greatest Phillies home run hitter of all time? Now, we're talking about trajectory now, because of course, obvious Mike Schmidt, I believe he has the most. But will he surpass Mike Schmidt?
How old is he?
He's in his 30s. Was he 34, 32? He's in his 30s.
I mean, I think he has the advantage because of the DH. Let me see where he's sitting at now. So he's 33.
33 Phillies all time?
No, he's his age is 33,
Oh, okay. I'm about to say that's a lot of people.
and he's got 307 homes. So what's that? 140.
Call it
He's
150.
100. Yeah, he's about 150 away. Yeah, I think he can do it.
As a
Because I
Philly.
think
So that would be
see that's
within the
different.
next 4 years, right? So was it a 4-year deal he signed? I believe.
3 or 4. So here's the thing: most home runs as a Philly goes to Mike Schmidt. He has 548, right? So as a Philly, Schwarber is at 204 home runs. So he would
Say
have to hit
that one more time for me. As a Philly, what? He
as
has
a
what?
Philly, he has 204 home runs.
204. Okay.
So he would still need 300 and some odd home runs, which I think he can get to 548 in his career, but most home runs as a Philly, that
He,
might
he,
not
he,
be.
he surpasses Schmitty with
I
that.
mean, because he would have to play another.
He would have to hit damn near 600 home runs. I mean, I'm not
Right.
doing the math really. I'm just kind of spitballing. But you said he's hit how many 100 and something outside of a Phillies uniform.
121 for the Cubs, 204 with the Phillies, 25 with the Nationals, and 7 with Boston.
I forgot he was with Boston. Forgot about
Mhm.
that. Who the Phillies are playing? Actually, did Ranger start today? Is the Ranger starting today for the Boston Red Sox? I don't know. I wanted to watch Ranger play, but oh well. It is what it is. Um and Monroe was commenting on the on the dunker thing. I'm gonna put that up in a little bit. Um so nobody put in the answer yet, so I'm gonna put it. Not surprised, but I'm surprised. The other Philly to hit five or home runs in five straight games was Odubel Herrera, who I thought was a halfway decent player, worthy of sticking around until he started swinging at baseballs that would trying to
Between his, bet-
I'm
it was
trying to unpause this statement. He was swinging at baseballs that would go
he was
between.
swinging at balls between his legs. Say it for what it is.
Okay, I was trying to avoid the pause, but you paused it
You
for
don't
me.
need to pause. You know what? I'm getting tired of that.
I'm
Pause.
not.
Why would you need to pause?
It's hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me because my wife and I even play that sometimes. My wife gets me sometimes. Like, okay, all right. I mean, I've been playing it for 26 years.
Yeah.
I just thought about it. Like it's sad, but I've been playing that game for at least the last 26 years.
And
Um,
us as coaches, we do it all the time. I think I had said something. It's like, yeah, we're gonna ride you, and then everybody's like, pause. I'm like, that's not what I mean. Damn it.
gotta have fun with it though. Gotta have fun with it.
Yeah, sure.
Um, you're in Baltimore. I'm sorry, you're in.
Baltimore. Having big fun.
And Baltimore recently had some. I'm gonna use my air quotes. Some honors for a deceased rapper slash actor slash poet slash a lot of things. Baltimore honored Tupac Shakur in a couple of different ways. You want to talk about that real quick?
Surely. So back on, I believe it was May 8th, to a looks like a sellout crowd at Camden Yards, they honored Tupac Shakur with his own bobblehead. Um, so they presented at the game for free. It was a crazy hit. There was some, verbal controversy about it because of, the stigma of, the music, the rap and all that good stuff. But they lined up for hours before the game. I was trying to pull up a pic.
Well, they lined up for hours before the game. It was packed to get that bobblehead. I'm interested. I was interested in knowing who sponsored that because that's the one thing I hate about when you go to a basketball game, baseball game, football, whatever the case is. Actually, they don't really give away gifts at football games, dude. I don't know, but mostly at basketball games. A lot of times at basketball games they have the giveaway. Excuse me. Mostly at baseball games they have these giveaways, whether it be a hat, a bobblehead, something, right? A glove. I remember getting a glove. I think it was like a Smokey the Bear glove, and the thing was like made of vinyl. It was like a terrible glove. Actually, real quick story. I think I got this glove twice. It was a black gloves. It had Smokey the Bear's face right in the palm, and I think I would use it for like T-ball or something like that. And I think as I got old, like I would just use it. I didn't know any difference. It was a baseball glove. I didn't know nothing. My dad was like, "Look, you're not going to use that glove anymore. That glove is terrible. That's not a real glove." I'm like, "What? What do you mean it's not a real glove? It's a glove. It's not a real glove." And then as years went by, there was like a hole in the palm in the pocket, it just started ripping and stuff like that. Which there was gloves that I had from my glove that I used in college, Miguel.
Hmm.
I had that same glove from fifth grade through college. Believe it or not, I had it from fifth grade through college, and then the year I was a coach in college, I was having a catch with somebody, and the ball went smooth through the glove. It broke a string, went smooth through. I'm lucky that I didn't have like catching in front of my face because it would have went through and hit me in my face. But I think I caught it here and I felt it. Like I felt it hit and I thought I caught it and then I didn't feel any weight. And I went in to grab it. My hand went right through the little pocket. And I was like, oh man, I guess it's time for this glove to go. But I had the same glove for a long time, a very long time.
Dude, Dan, that brings up. So my senior year of high school, we were playing. We used to share equipment, because city school, that's what you do, right? So I remember we played in the championship game. I had two first baseman's mitts and two catcher's mitts, but I didn't catch or play first base. I was a DH because I had a really bad. I busted up my ankle the first home game of the year, and then didn't play until I got to the playoffs, and I got the game winning hit in the semifinals to get us to the championship. But we'll get to that later. But I let my first baseman borrow my first base gloves, and I let my catcher use my catcher's equipment. I got my catcher's equipment back, but when I asked the first baseman, "Hey, do you have the gloves?" Like, no, I left it in the locker room. Like, why would you leave it in the locker room? And it was one of the best first base gloves I ever had. It was actually it was a Rawlings 14-inch glove. It actually had it was the first baseman glove I ever saw that had a closed net. There was no net.
Okay.
Love that glove. And if he's listening out there, you owe me $92.12. But
Did you factor in inflation and stuff like that?
so with inflation, that's about $450.
Okay, there you go. And he wants his money now, as
Now,
as Claire Huxtable will say. I
now,
want my money now.
now. So getting back to the bobblehead. So the only thing I saw with the sponsor thing, the Shakur Foundation, which I believe is run by Tupac's sister, she's the president, worked in concert with the Orioles to create the design for the actual bobblehead. Um, so one side note is that yes, this was a free item for the first 20,000 fans that arrived. Initially, it was going to be for the first 5,000, but there was such a demand for it that they upped it 15. So now it's actually reselling for anywhere between $200 to $2,500.
What?
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
So it's on sites including eBay, Poshmark, StockX, and they've exploded with this thing. A lot of people are doing like online commentaries about it, and yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
So I guess you were going to lead up to the second thing they did.
Yeah, you could talk about that.
Yeah, so Baltimore City decided to honor Tupac Shakur another way by naming a street after him, which is the street that he actually lived on while he lived in Baltimore from the years of 1984 to 1988. The street in question is along Greenmount Avenue,
And what's
which
the
is
significance of Greenmont Avenue?
so I'm still learning Baltimore. Okay, so I have people. My two coworkers actually were born and raised in Baltimore. I always tease them because they don't know how to say dog. They say Doug, and it drives me nuts.
Yep. Hmm.
So they always tease. They're like, "Yeah, I don't go. You live where?" I live in East Baltimore, Northeast Baltimore. They're like, "Oh, you over there?" I'm like, "What the hell does that mean?" But they
Playing
said
on
that
the West Side.
they're West Side, yeah. So apparently West Side is not weird like East Side, whatever the hell that means. But either way, Greenmount was like they don't go past Greenmount, and apparently Greenmount has a reputation for some pretty nefarious activities involving all types of things. I'll say, and so there was some like kind of conflicting emotions about that. But I mean, he did live on the 4,000 block of Greenmount Avenue, which happens to be in the heart of that area. So, yeah.
So what Miguel had mentioned prior to the show for my Philly people, um, he said that area would be the equivalent of K&A in Philadelphia. Um,
At least reputation, yeah, reputation. But
reputation.
again, that's what I was kind of led to believe. So
I'm wondering now. I'm like, while you were talking about that, I was kind of like running through my whole series of The Wire and trying to remember if I ever heard that street on The Wire, but I can't. Mondawmin, I heard. Not
yeah,
Mondawmin.
Mandama.
First,
There's a street that I actually go past
Fayette.
almost.
Fayette is what I
Yeah,
Fayette.
Fayette. So Fayette, that pretty much runs from it runs east west. It goes right through downtown to the west side. I take it from the east side going into like the Charles Street area. So it's like maybe like a block or two off of Inner Harbor. So yeah,
Well, shout out to Pop because he got a street named after him. In his, I guess, is his hometown. He lived there from '84 to '88, but I thought he
yeah.
was born there. But I guess, well, maybe that street he was '84 to '88, but
No,
I
he
don't
was
know.
born. So he was born in New York. His and it's a so it's a. Do you remember the? I think Dave Chappelle did a special in D.C. and he teased about. He's like, how bad is Baltimore that Tupac's mom sent him to Oakland? So yeah, so people are like kind of like still butthurt about that joke. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was here. He went to high school here. He spent 2 years at Dunbar, and then he went to the School of the Arts, where he met and tried to get away from Jada Pinkett. And there's also the running joke that Tupac faked his death to get away from Jada Pinkett. So,
Luna, I hear Luna back there.
oh, you heard?
Um,
Luna, shut up.
So we're gonna go to we're gonna take another quick commercial spot, and we're gonna get to some of these comments about the Dunkers. But once again, let me preface this by saying this. Okay, that's enough. Here we go. We're gonna take this quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
The morning's fresh and bright, but something's not quite right. He said he was with the boys last night. The best part of waking up is he doesn't know what's in his cup. Arsenic, 1 cup is all he'll need.
Only Miguel. Only Miguel.
What are you talking about?
Shout out to Miguel. All right, so real quick, this is our little kind of poll question of the day. The best dunker of all time. You got Vince Carter, Blake Griffin, Sean Kemp, Julius Dr. J. Irving, Michael Jordan, Dwight Howard, Dominique Wilkins, LeBron James, or somebody else. And we have some comments on this one. Um, Monroe said, Dunkers, first off, Kobe needs to be on that list. Dwight Howard does not. I'm from Philly and was in tears when Billy C, talking about Billy Cunningham, the kangaroo kid, couldn't play anymore. Actually, it's funny that he mentioned that Billy Cunningham was being interviewed just before our show started by Howard Eskin. live. I was watching that just before the show started.
Oh wow, okay.
Um, he said my tears dried up instantly when the Sixers signed Dr. J, the $6 million man. Loved every minute he was in. He was an in-air ballet. And he goes on to say it's almost unfair to compare players, teams, and players from. It's almost unfair to compare players, teams, and players from different eras. But Vince Carter is my personal favorite. He had art and physicality. Loved me some Neek too. And earlier, of course, I put in earlier. Ardot says Vince Carter hands down, and then Monroe also said Vince Carter played till he was 43. He did. I'm 44. I turned 45 this year, right? Yeah, I turned 45 this year. To think that he played in the NBA with some of the greatest athletes in the world that were, think about this, Miguel, half his age, literally half his age and more, and still competing at a high level and still able to dunk at times. Um, I'm going to say Vince because I think Vince is probably the best in-game dunker. Um,
I was gonna say, yeah.
dunker, huh?
No, I was gonna say that too. Like, would that be one of the criteria? Like dunking, like live in real time, or slam dunk contest? But yeah, I was gonna.
I mean,
I would say,
however you want to craft it. But I think Vince takes the cake both, right? Blake had some nasty dunks too. Probably one of my favorite dunkers to watch that was on this list was, I mean, Dominique was nasty. All of them were nasty, right? Dwight doesn't need to be on this list. I feel like centers and dunking centers are just kind of weird to me, but not weird, but it's just like consider them a dunker. Like, why isn't Shaq on the list? Shaq was a dunker too. But anyway,
yeah,
Sean Kemp used to be one of my favorite dunkers to watch because of the style of game that team played. One of my favorite players, Gary Payton, was throwing them oops all crazy, and he would just like what he would do, the effect he would put on his dunks were just nasty. But of course, keep the comments coming. Hit us up on the phone line 727-731-8276. Or of course you can hit us on our 24-hour text line at 484-606-6061. Hey, what are you doing over here? There we go. Real quick, let's talk about the Eagles real quick. The schedule is coming out very soon, and two things that we kind of know already, two things that leaked. The Eagles will be playing in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Okay, which means there must be an Eagles Dallas home game late in the season, right? So they're probably playing Dallas again in December because the Eagles played Dallas first game of the season at home this past season. So, and right, didn't they? Didn't they play Dallas at home first game of the season? Okay. Um, and also they're going to play Jacksonville in England again. I'm surprised that like Jacksonville goes to England every year, I believe, but it's like is that considered a home game? Not technically, not like officially, but is that like considered a home
well,
game for Jacksonville?
I think that was the purpose of having like a 17th game of the season, so you still have your 8-8 split, kind of, sort of. But
No,
um,
no, that 17th game was strictly about money.
no doubt. But
Strictly about money. Um, this I didn't know about. Kevin Petullo posted a video taking credit for the Eagles' offensive success in Super Bowl runs, plural.
yeah, I was trying to pull up, but my phone had died. But it was basically saying it was weird because I don't know if he was talking to a fan or a reporter. Let me see if I can pull up the. But it was
Well,
along the line.
he was the he wasn't the quarterback coach. He was like the pass game coordinator, right? Something like that.
Something like that, but he didn't. Yeah.
But he wasn't on the team
Yeah.
when they
So
won the Super Bowl
he
with.
was
Oh,
the
he lost one. I forgot.
he was the passing game coordinator, associate head coach, and then the offensive coordinator. But he started off as the passing game coordinator.
Well, he's not here anymore, so I mean, whatever. I mean, he might have. and maybe that's why they saw fit to escalate or promote him, excuse me, to offensive coordinator. Um, but it just didn't work out. It didn't work out this season. They got him out of there quick. They didn't even give him a second shot. They got him out of there quick. And I think a lot of it was due to public pressure. I do. I really do. Um, a lot of people will say, no, they're not going to make decisions based on what the public has to say. Bull s. Bull shiggity. If you put enough pressure on them, they will make moves because they don't want to lose those dollars. They don't want to lose those dollars. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. Um, sorry, I'm looking at okay. Um, and former Eagle tight end Charlie Young uh passed away. He was drafted by the Eagles in 1973. They passed away at the age of 75, young age of 75. And you have here Miguel. He led NFL tight ends in catches and yards and became the first Eagle to make All Pro as a rookie since Steve Van Buren in 1944. Tight end Keith Jackson in 1988 is the only other Eagles rookie to be named first team All Pro. Keith Jackson was a beast too. You see, to this day, Young's 854 yards as a rookie are eighth most in NFL history by a rookie tight end. And he's one of the only four rookie tight ends ever to make first team All Pro, along with Keith Jackson, as stated before. Jeremy Shockey of the Giants, who was Jeremy Shockey was a beast. I hated
He was a
playing with
beast. He was a beast.
him. And Brock Bowers of the Raiders in 2024. Um, He follows a historic rookie year with two more solid seasons with 63 receptions for 696 yards and 49 for 659, and then 74 and 75 making the Pro Bowl after each season. His 2,209 yards from 73 through 75 remain the ninth most ever by a tight end in his first three seasons. Whew, that's a mouthful. Should I read the rest?
I mean, you can. He was the key cog in the trade that landed Ron Jaworski to Philadelphia. Then he spent because Jaworski started off with the Rams when they were
That
in. He started off with the Rams in Los Angeles.
never knew.
So once the Eagles got him, and I think they got Wilbert Montgomery the same year or the year after. I think the same year.
Here's another.
Um,
Here's another note that you didn't put in here. Oh, did you put it in here? No, you didn't. Monroe just put in Charlie Young played when the season was only 12 games long. So he's putting these numbers up with five less games than what they play now.
14. They were 14 game seasons.
14 game.
Yeah, I
14
think it
games.
expanded to 16 in 78, 79. That's when they went to
When did it go
16.
was it okay?
It
So
was 14 games, yeah.
okay. 14 games. So he's doing it with less games.
Still less games, yeah. Two less games.
Doing it with less games. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
And then you say the NFL ends the minority offensive assistant mandate. What is that? I was not aware of this. I know about the Rooney Rule, but I didn't know about the minority. Am I barking up the right tree?
So it's the Rooney Rule. So basically, the NFL ended a mandate that all 32 teams hire a minority coach as an offensive assistant. Um, but not because of there was pressure from a Florida attorney. Go figure. Florida is always trying to mess something up. He issued this particular attorney issued a subpoena over the league over its hiring practices, citing civil rights issues. So basically, their claim is that it's changed. It has to change the diversity language,
Mm-hmm.
and claims that the Rooney Rule as actually is a discriminative opponent or discriminative. It has discriminative language because of the quotas. It's so basically this I think carries over from not to get political, but like Trump getting rid of DEI
Uh huh. Yep.
and which all the reasons why he wanted to get rid of DEI, they all failed. So it's slowly coming back, but it's being renamed and rebranded, if you will. And I have experienced it with at my job because I do I'm on our DEI now SEI committee. So there was a lot of rebranding and
What's
renaming and all
what's
that stuff.
what's SEI? Don't even worry about it. I thought you might be able to just spit it right. Don't even worry about it. Doesn't matter.
Right. But but the NFL is contending that there are so many people of diverse backgrounds that are getting hired anyway that it's not necessary to give the extra stipend. So basically when a team was successfully hiring a minority coach, they would actually get extra money as a, I guess you could say, a reward for it.
Mm.
So that's going to end.
All you gotta do is stop giving them money. They'll stop hiring them on their own.
Right. But they're saying like the they're kind of saying just like with in politics where they're like, oh, we don't need um what is it? Not Title 9 or Title 11. There's certain things we don't need anymore because they don't apply. But they are put in there so that way there isn't discrimination. You know what I mean? So it's like they're claiming that there's no more discrimination. It's like, okay, slavery is over, slavery never happened, we're good. Kumbaya. There's no such thing as racism. You know what I mean? But it's like you saw what happened with what's his name? Brian Flores when he was the head coach of the Dolphins that is actually still in a lawsuit with the NFL for discriminatory practices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's still coaching, but could he be pseudo blackballed from getting a head coaching position?
Probably.
Obviously. You know what I mean?
Real quick note because you said kumbaya. Do you know? I'm gonna try to make this real quick because this is not what this show is. So kumbaya is not what they were saying. Do you know that phrase came from the fields, the cotton fields, um, during slavery? It was a Negro spiritual that was being sung, and let's just say people took that song, what they thought was being said, and made it kumbaya, right? Do you know what was really being said? So it was actually the Gullah Geechee people who actually still, their culture still exists in South Carolina. And there was a TV show, Gullah Island. It was Gullah Island or whatever. They were actually saying "Come by here," but the people didn't understand the accent, so they thought they were saying "Kumbaya,"
Which in
and
in
then turned
Spanish,
it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
which in Spanish, when you say "allá" means over there. Ha ha!
Yeah. Or "Aquí" means here. You didn't know I knew that, did you? Shout out to my aunt Mimi who basically taught me the first Spanish thing I kind of remember knowing outside of like something I might have heard on Sesame Street was "Siéntate aquí." That was the first Spanish phrase that I ever knew in my life.
Nice.
So I never got "aquí" wrong on the Spanish test. If there was one thing I knew was "aquí" and "siéntate."
Yeah, yeah. Usually, when my mom was yelling "siéntate" for me, it was usually in the middle of an ass whooping.
Because you was trying to run, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to, no, move your hand, move your hand.
"Siéntate aquí."
Yeah.
All right, we got one more commercial break, real quick.
Yes, the last one of the day.
Last one of the day, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quick. Okay, that's enough. Here we go.
New. Introducing Head On. Apply directly where it hurts. Head On. Apply directly to the forehead. Head On. Available at Walgreens.
Man, I tell you what. Glad I have my camera in front of this screen. I can't really see. Can't really see exactly what's going on, but I seen that before. I'm like, ooh, wee. Okay. Miguel is not stumping me today, y'all. He was taken back by the fact that I was able to get last week, and it took me a little bit just because I couldn't remember the name, but I knew who it was. But I'm glad he like that was a really good one because, like I said last week, I didn't realize he had played for so many teams, and I just couldn't remember the name, but I ended up getting it. But you do have a couple videos for us to take it home.
Yes.
So, do we need an introduction for this first one?
So
I'm being by YouTube. I'm looking at it now. We're gonna get it.
I want to say, I guess this would be like for those of you that want to play like word of the day. So the word of the day is pulchritudinous,
Whole
and
critique.
here is how it's used in the sentence.
Grissom pokes one down the right field line, and Bench dives and makes a fantastic catch. Oh, wow! Carson Bench with a pulchritudinous play, and there are 2 men down in the ninth.
I'm gonna have to look that up because
Oh,
there's
so
no way.
hold on. I think I have the meaning.
There's no way that 90% of whatever audience that was. I mean, it was the Angels and the Mets. I don't know which broadcast that was, but there's no way at least 90% of the audience knew that that was even a real word. He could have just said great. I'm just
I mean,
using
but really, what fun is that?
Well, yeah, true. What you got for us next? Oh,
All right.
you didn't get the other one, right? The other one wasn't working out, right?
No, I managed to get that. So, okay, that's the one I want. All right, so this one's a little I don't want to say emotional, but this one is a little close to home. So, of course, this past Sunday we celebrated Mother's Day, and something had popped up on my timeline. It was Mother's Day 1993, and I remember. So my mother had, is no longer with us. She passed away in 2023. Um, and there were times where like we would kind of chill on Sundays and watch, Phillies on Prism or whatever. Or actually, they were always on Prism on Saturday, but on Sunday they were on WPHL 17.
Yep.
Um,
Channel 17.
Channel 17. So this one game, I was actually recording it like VHS wise, and Phillies were losing. And so I was like, screw it, they're gonna lose the game anyway. So I stopped recording right before this inning started. I was like so pissed off at myself. This is before I understood that, baseball is the beautiful game that we have now, and there are such things called rallies, right? So when I saw Lee Smith on the mound, Lee Smith was one of the greatest closers of all time. He pitched in the 80s and the 90s, and he was facing, an okay second baseman at our time in 1993 named Mariano Duncan, who was actually 0 for 3 prior to this at-bat with 2 strikeouts. And, it reminded me of this moment that me and my mother actually shared.
Phillies have him loaded with 2 outs. Well hit. It might be. It could be. Grand slam home run. Mariano Duncan. Can you believe it? The Phillies lead 6-5 in the 8th. I tell you, what a reception. Oh, brother. This crowd of 46,000 plus has been silent all day to then wake him up. Man, oh man, a grand slam Duncan. Phil's lead 6-5. Duncan is now lifetime 8 for 15 off Lee Smith, the all-time save leader.
That has to be the biggest one he ever had. Duncan did not look good in his first 3 at-bats against Tewksbury. He struck out twice, grounded out. First pitch off.
I was about to ask you if that was it. I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was like on a show again or something like that.
Yeah,
That was
so
awesome. That was awesome. The old veteran stadium. One thing that stood out to me in that, I didn't realize West Chamberlain was as big as he was.
dude, he was stacked, bro.
He was jacked.
And I remember because he platooned with Eisenreich in
Mhm.
right field, so he always played against the lefties. But '93 was a very special year. Don't tell my mom, but like 2 weeks later, I broke my virginity. So,
He broke it, huh?
yeah.
As far
Or
as I refer to it as breaking it, but okay.
you never heard of that growing up, breaking your virginity?
I've heard lost it, but I've never heard broke it.
Oh, broke it, lost it, smacked it, flipped it, rubbed it, whatever you want to call it. Oh no! That's what happened in 1993. And if you're doing the math, yes, I was way too young. So you can stop the math there.
Weren't we all?
Some of us, but the '90s were different because we didn't have social media, because we didn't broadcast our business out there like morons.
Yeah, and the music was hypersexualized.
Yeah.
Hypersexualized. Even the music that came from our parents' generation was hypersexualized. Anyway, you have a real quick note that you want to say before we get out of here.
Yeah, just Visions is always Vision Select Baseball, which is the organization I coach. I help coach the 13Us. Pretty soon the 18s and the 16s over the summer. So of course we're always looking for new members to join our family. So just hit me up in my DMs, or if you have my email, if you have my number, hit me up. We pretty much have teams between the ages of 12 and 18. We are here to develop competitive teams, developing players on and off the field, building champions through teamwork, dedication, and development. So you can reach out on the website, visionselectbaseball.com, Instagram, visions_select_baseball. So reach out. Let me know if you're interested. We can always set up a tryout.
All right, Miguel, I want your answer to this. Who's the best dunker of all time, in your opinion? Is any of these guys or somebody that's not on the list?
I'm always a homer when it comes to this stuff. When I did start watching basketball, it was at the tail end of his career, but I started with Julius Erving, and then Michael Jordan was, kind of, I think he was maybe a year or two when Dr. J was doing his farewell
Farewell.
tour. Thank you.
You're getting there.
So, but every time they would show him, before a game, it was always the highlights of him doing, the full sprint foul line dunk. He was one of the first ones to do it, and Michael Jordan emulated it. I always like to go with the person that did it first, because he kind of is the pioneer for all the ones on that list. But I'd lean Jordan. I still think he's the best.
Okay. All right. I respect it.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Jordan was the guy that, like, I don't want to say put a lot of flavor on it, because Doc put flavor on it too. But Dominique was the guy that put flavor on it and power on it. Right? Like, the power Neek put on it with the flavor was unreal. And then, to me, Vince Carter took it to another level. I don't disagree with anything you said. I think I'm going to go with Vince Carter because in game and dunk contest dunker, unreal. Like, Vince Carter is the reason the dunk contest is bad now. If you think about it, like people don't want to watch the dunk contest anymore because the things Vince did at the time that he was doing it, we never saw, and we really only see, and this is only if you even watch these things, you only see the things that are amazing with these professional dunkers that are out now having these contests. And if you have not seen these professional dunk, not NBA dunk contests, these professional dunking contests, I would suggest you check a couple of them out because they're pretty doggone good. But Vince, I mean, when he put his arm in the rim, like we never saw that before. Guy putting his whole arm into the rim with his elbow. Um,
I always
Dunking
wanted
the foul
to,
line with two hands. Like
I always wanted to see him do that in a game though.
yeah, right. I mean, it'd be tough. He do that, he'd probably get in a fight in the old NBA.
Right.
What else did he do? There's something else he did that was just like
He
the things
lost to the
and honestly, if you go back and watch that dunk contest, it was him, Tracy McGrady, and Steve Francis that were just kind of going at it. Excuse me, in that one. But you
Tracy.
just knew like things Vince was doing was just unreal. And it's a shame we only got him for one, but I love the fact we only got him for one. Because there's I don't think there was any way he could have topped that performance. That's got to be the greatest dunk contest performance of all time. And Vince, you're a Carolina guy, you're a Tar Heel, love you, but I'm glad you missed that shot in Game 7. I'm glad you I'm glad you went to your graduation that day.
That part.
You went to your graduation and allowed your family to honor you. Um, so definitely want to put that out there. Monroe says a Jordan choice must be respected. Neek had some sweet 360. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. When you watch Neek dunk, man, like you watch Dominique Wilkins dunk today, you're just like, man, that was nasty. That was nasty. Um, it's just a shame we didn't get to see Neek in the finals or anything like that. Couldn't get past Boston, couldn't get past Chicago, Detroit, whatever you want to say. Any last words before we get out of here, Miguel?
Ken Griffey once said, "Confidence is how you go about your business. Cocky is when you have to explain it to somebody." So, in the words of Razor Ramon, don't sing it, bring it.
Chico.
Chico.
Gotta say Chico with it. When it's Razor Ramon, you
Chico.
gotta put
Miras, don't sing it, man.
the late
Bring it.
great what was his name?
His real name was Scott Hall, so he had no Latino in him.
Scott Hall. Thank you. All right. Well, we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast with myself. And of course, the brain and bronze of the situation, my man Miguel, who's down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
We're gonna get up out of here. Make sure you check us out next week. We have a very special interview coming next week that we don't want you to miss. So definitely make sure you're on the line with us next week, and so we can enjoy and you can ask your questions and all that good stuff. And I'm looking forward to this. Miguel knows why. With all that being said, we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us. We'll talk to y'all next week here on the Check Swing Podcast. Peace.
Until we meet again.